Good morning. Good morning. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to stuff my face with some breakfast. I apologize. Joseph B., what's up? Yep, we finally got the poll up there. So if you guys want to participate, the question is, do you believe Richard Allen's wife knew the man police were calling a suspect was her husband? Now, I spent probably about an hour this morning going through all of the media coverage. And I mean, I just don't see how she can't, how she wasn't aware. Man, I don't know. I'm not, I can't read her thoughts, but I mean, there would have a lot of things would have to happen for her not to be aware that he's that man. She would have to be completely ignorant to the fact he was at the trails, that he spoke to a conservation officer. She would have to be completely unaware of all of that stuff. Because if she knew he was on the trails and she's looking at that guy that the picture they're posting all over the media saying he is now a suspect. Because for a day or two, they were just saying, oh, we just want to talk with him. We just want to ask him a few questions, ask him what he's seen, you know. Metal Mama, what's up? Rescue all the dogs, Chili Mayday in Indy. Yeah, I mean, I'm just sharing you the questions that I ask myself. Hey, what's up, Bogey? Kevin says DC has said he thinks the killer follows this case. Do you think, or have you ever suspected the killer to be involved in these live chats? I mean, it's very common for killers or people that know about the crime, details about the crime, um, to engage in conversation on social media. And I'm assuming they want to educate themselves on what people know. Social media is a great way to find out what's going on. I mean, look at what we've dug up with the Delphi case. I mean, you're definitely going to get more information combing through YouTube videos on the case than you ever will uh, going through local media and network coverage and things like that, national coverage. Good morning, Sassy. What's up, Don Spain? Good to see you, my friend. DNR to the rescue. Have reference, resume on demand, false arrest, frame up, or specialty better come apart before apart. Rescue All Dog says there should be more choices on the poll. I was thinking about putting more choices, but to me, it's cut and dry. Let me finish your comment here. I believe she may have dismissed any thoughts she had and made herself believe it was possible. I rest no blame on her. Well, I can't blame anybody because I don't know for sure. But to me, I'm convinced that she was fully aware. That's where I stand right now. I mean, just going through this media coverage, listening to the voice comparison, and we're going to look at all of that. I pulled all these clips that I watched this morning. We're going to take a look. I have the voice comparison between Richard Allen versus the bridge guy. I mean, it's a match. I just don't see how it's possible. Like I can hear my wife's voice. I can hear my children's voice in a crowd in the distance. Like I can pick it out. So of course I don't know for sure, and I don't want to demonize her, but I'm just saying it's common sense. You have a picture of the guy and a video of the guy and the voice of the person on the bridge. How? I mean, how is it possible that you don't know? What is up, Heather? Beach Fairy, Kevin, outside the grid. What's up? Good to see you. Kimmy Connect. D, what's going on? D, True Crime Mama. Melissa. Probably washes his clothes and pick up his jacket from the living room floor. What's up, Arch? I think she knew, but May 2019 PC relaxed her a bit. Yeah, it's very strange that they moved away from Richard Allen and basically said that they've identified this person. And I don't know if they're referring to Richard Allen, but it sure sounds like it. You know, they have a police bulletin they put out a few days after the presser to clear up some of the confusion. And they're saying that the older sketch, even though Doug Carter says it's secondary, and somewhere in between both sketches, why in the damn police bulletin are they saying the man is cleared? I don't understand the confusion and why they can't just get on the same page. I do not understand. It makes no sense to me. Here's a good example of not being on the same page. Let's take a look here.
But at this point in time, we have not tied it to any other known homicides.
Keep in mind that there the likeliness, the possibility of more than one person. We're not saying that the person, that the voice that you heard is the same as this person here.
Excuse me?
By city building. We are releasing additional portions of the audio recording from that day. Please keep in mind, the person talking is one person and is the person on the bridge with the girls. This is not two different people speaking. Please listen to it very, very carefully.
What? It's like, excuse me? Man, that's just so crazy. Let's go ahead and confuse the hell out of the public. Now, he should have started that sentence with, let me go ahead and clear up some confusion. Jane from the country, Lakeside, Arch Lux, 517 Kells. What's up, guys? Shane, good to see you, Shane. Susie, Julianne. Sorry if I missed anybody. Andy, Return the Diamonds. Got you, Melissa, Julianne. Jamie, what's up, Jamie? Sparky Doo. Shane says, I think she must have had her suspicions deep down. I don't think deep down. I think she just knew. I think she just knew. Alrighty. So before we get into that, let's go ahead and look at the movement that's going on with the case. I had some information shared with me this morning with Fig that he got from his lawyer friend in regards to KK. I've been observing his My Case, and I was hoping there were some changes on Monday. I checked again Tuesday. Didn't check this morning, but I got a text message from Fig saying, hey, have you seen this? Then he was kind enough to share some other things that he received pertaining to this information. And we'll go over that right now. I don't know why this copy's so bad. Oh, here. A little better when we zoom in. Okay, so as of this morning, it says here, notice of exclusion of confidential information. This was posted this morning. So I don't know why they would need to exclude anything if it's pertaining to the CSAM case. I mean, that should just be a completely open case. He's admitted to everything. Now, I don't know if he's maybe trying to rat out some of these other CSAMers, but that doesn't make sense. Why would you make it confidential? Is it because he's pleading guilty and they don't want to expose their methods or what they were doing to cause him to plead guilty? Now, you know what I think. They've before the Wabash search, they made sure everything was confidential. That's why we haven't really received much information about it. It's confidential. Everything is sealed. Now, everything that was sealed is going to be excluded in Kagan's CSAM case because it looks like he's about to get sentenced here on the 18th. And this is what Fig sent me. From ACR, access to court records filed. It looks like it was filed yesterday. Notice of exclusion of confidential information from public access. Contemporaneous with the filing of this notice, the undersigned probation officer has filed confidential information under the Indiana rules of access to court records. The officer provides this notice that the confidential information is to remain excluded from public access in accordance with the authority listed below. That's ACR. So it looks like in my opinion, Keegan Klein became a CI. Because we know that he filed confidential paperwork just like this on the case right before the search over there in Peru. So everything that was going on in Peru was confidential. Now, is that to protect witnesses? Is that to protect potential suspects who were communicating online or in contact with Keegan Klein? Heather says, as much as I think it's him, she lived with him. She had to know. Maybe she was afraid of him. Yeah, and the question isn't what motivated her to be quiet or was she in denial? I wanted it to just be cut and dry. Whatever happened after the fact that she understood that that is her husband, which can happen. You could be afraid. You could be in denial. But I guess the question is, if she did know, is that considered a crime? And I was reading the Indiana law, and it could be. What's up, Shooter? Yeah, we're going to make sure you guys vote on that poll. We're going to close it out here in just about 5 minutes. Presume you know it's your spouse. What would you do? That's what I'm saying. Like, how can you turn in your husband? Then you'd say, oh, well, what about the two girls? Yeah, well, you don't know those two girls the way you know your husband. You love this person. You've been with them your entire life. You love them. You would die for this person. Rescue All Dog says, if you believe KA knew based off of BG voice video pics, then you have to believe the daughter did too. This is hard to stomach. I don't know. It's different for a wife. She's been with the man over 20 years. You know, you're talking about a young person here. You know, I'm talking about somebody who has seen Richard Allen, has seen all versions of the man. She's seen the drunk, the angry, the nice, the happy, the sad, the violent, the pathetic, the scared, the mean. She's seen all there is from this man. The kids haven't. Now, did they recognize? Yeah, maybe so. For all we know, the daughter is helping. You know, maybe help from her new husband. He's like, you got to say something. Like, you can't just let this go. You know, gave her the strength. You know, removing her from the point of control. She can start thinking for herself, and or maybe her thoughts started to clear up a little bit. So yeah, let's say Kagan's not involved. Maybe we have a witness like that who came forward. You know, friend of the family, neighbor, somebody newly married into the family. Who knows? Shane says, unless he lied to her and said he was cleared after meeting the conservation officer. Yeah, and that's the point I wanted to bring up, because the little media clips that I'm going to play, I mean, they flat out come out and say he is a suspect. We're looking for him. You know, we need to speak with this man. He is now considered a suspect. Okay. So they don't mince the words at all. They're not playing semantics. They're not cutting hairs. It's cut and dry. This man is a suspect. And I'm assuming that's after they had a chance to analyze the video. They're like, okay, yeah, this guy's ordering them down the hill, and he's obviously got a weapon. One of the girls mentions a weapon. This is our suspect. But right from the beginning, Burston said there could be others involved. So it's like they had this image, or they painted a picture of what they thought happened, or they knew exactly what happened. They just didn't have any of the names or the players. Base girl, what's up? He probably told her he was there to look for girls. Well, then she definitely knows if that's the case. Good morning, Jinx. Good to see all you guys. What's up, Jari? She certainly didn't recognize him from those sketches. Yeah, I don't think let's say she did. And I don't know. We don't know. Yes, we're speculating, and some people don't like that. I could care less what you like or don't like. We're human beings. We're free to speculate. We're not professionals. We're not any integral part of this investigation. I have 109 people watching who have probably heard me say the same thing multiple times. But in my opinion, after listening to the voice, comparing the voice, just going over it in my head. WL22, what's up? Yeah, that was majorly conflicting. Very frustrating. Okay, let me pull up these clips that I have here. Okay.
6 breaking news. Investigators now say this man is the main suspect in the murder of 2 Delphi teens. We have team coverage of this huge new 6 breaking news. Investigators now say this man is the main suspect in the murder of 2 Delphi teens. We have team coverage of this huge new 6 breaking news. Okay, so if he just went and talked to a conservation officer on the 13th or the 14th, and media starts putting this out on the 15th.
Breaking news tonight,
there should be no
major
confusion.
Development in Delphi. State police say this man is now a suspect in the murders of 2 teenage girls. We've been showing you his picture all week. It was taken on the trail where the girls disappeared. At first, police said they only wanted to talk to him, and now they believe he participated in the killings.
Mm-hmm. Melissa's saying, if she did know, why didn't she say anything? I don't know. We don't know that dynamic. For all I know, he stood over her multiple times with a knife to her throat. Who knows? Hey, Lipsha. Does anyone have any info about who took down the memorials at the bridge? Lipsha, honestly, as bad as that looks to us, usually they don't leave up memorials like that. That memorial has been up for longer than any other memorial I've ever seen. Usually it's like a week or two. And I'm sure the people who are running that trail, they don't want it associated with the double homicide. They don't want people showing up from Texas, saying, "Hey, we should stop at that High Bridge or the Monon Trail." And then as soon as they get there, they're like, "What's this? Look, what's this memorial? Oh, there was 2 girls who were brutally murdered here." That's, I don't know if it's disrespect, but I mean, at some point, things got to move on, I guess. Is their opinion. I just say go put it back. Just keep putting stuff there. Maybe because that memorial, people put those stones, that heart, the trail, the people who keep those trails didn't put that there. So if they're going to take it down, I just say go put it back up. Maybe make something more permanent. All right. So this was an article from Wish TV from Ashley Fowler. It was posted November 14th, 2022, shortly after Richard Allen was arrested. Richard Allen, the man arrested in the 2017 double murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German near Delphi, told a state conservation officer he was in the area on the day of the killings, but his report may have been considered unfounded, a police source tells iTeam8. What's up, Deborah? Deborah says, "Are you kidding? How could you not say something?" Well, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. My wife has never committed murder, so I don't know what I would do in that situation. I guess my point is this, as playing devil's advocate, of course, from the outside looking in, yeah, it's like, how could you? How could you not say something? But if you put yourself in her shoes, if that is the situation, not saying it is, this is a hypothetical. Let's say she did know. At some point, you're going to realize that that's the biggest conflict of your entire life. My husband committed the most brutal murder in the history of this county. What do I do? What does that mean for me? My life is now over as well. If she came forward, yeah, she's going to be a hero, but her life is still over. She's all over the news. Her name, she's now famous overnight. She's going to sit there and contemplate all these things. She's going to weigh the pros and she's going to weigh the cons. And then she's also going to consider, and I'm sure if this was the case, I'm sure Richard Allen was in there with his fingers dug into her brain, manipulating, like, oh, I'll change, or, that I go through psychosis, or, what I was going through. I don't remember what happened. I think it was me, but I don't, I can't remember. I was sick at the time. I was really drunk and high. And then she can easily start negotiating right there with him. Like, okay, well, you need to stop drinking. You need to stop doing this. You need to stop doing that. You're going to change your life moving forward. And that's when the denial starts to set in. Because if you look at all those pictures on his wife's Facebook, in 2018, he was very healthy, active. He just had like a healthy look to him. He was out hiking. So to me, this is the results. Let's say they did make an agreement. To me, what we saw in 2018 is a result of that agreement. That's where I get those thoughts, by seeing the changes in him. So law enforcement were looking for somebody who was deteriorating. But I think that it's possible that Richard Allen was already deteriorating, and that's what led to the crime. But what happened eventually is, he did start to deteriorate around 2019. We see him gain all this weight. He starts shaving his head and growing this weird beard. He starts looking like a roadie for fucking Guns N' Roses. Heather says, I would turn him in. I wouldn't be able to look at him. Honestly, this is like one of those questions I don't think you can answer. You can't answer. The only person who can answer this question is Kathy, or somebody who's been in that situation. Because there's lots of things that come up in our life, decisions we have to make that you have no clue about until it comes up. Some type of an emergency. Even like when it comes to fight or flight. I mean, you don't know. What are you going to do? Fight? Or are you going to run when a bad situation comes up? Sometimes you don't know. You even have the toughest guys that say, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then you confront those people and they're the biggest babies. So you just never know. And I do think it's possible that the conservation officer looked at Richard Allen and maybe just underestimated him or something. I'm not sure. Allen, a 50-year-old resident of Delphi, went to a conservation officer right after the teen's murder on February 13th, 2017. So they're making it seem as if he went, I don't know if they're talking about the murders or went to the conservation officer right after the teen's murders on the 13th. And said he was on the Monon High Bridge that afternoon, but didn't see the two girls, the source says. Okay, so let's take everything we know. His family knew that he was on that trail. His family knows that he spoke with the conservation officer. With everything that they know, seeing him in the blue jacket that he's constantly wearing, I mean, we have multiple videos of him dressed just like the bridge guy. We got his voice. It's a pretty good match. I just don't see how it's possible, in my opinion. Rescue All Dog says, if Richard were exposed, their lives would crumble. too much to lose. Yeah, she's going to have a lot to think about, and we don't know what's important to her. Maybe she chose her own family over Libby and Abby. You know, she's thinking about her daughter. Like, what would this do to her and her future right before college or during college, or, you know, the main years where you start to get your career up and running. You know what I mean? This is going to be horrible for her. And if Richard Allen is guilty and the murderer, of course he's innocent until proven guilty, but in my opinion, it's clear that that's him on that bridge. Cindy says, I wonder if tentacles meant family. No, I don't think so. In my opinion, I don't think so. I think tentacles just involve the CSAM ring, people who contribute to it, people who use their services, and then anybody who was part of a potential conspiracy. But yeah, it could be one of the tentacles. That could be something that would spark, you know, maybe the mind to use tentacles. You're like, okay, we got the CSAM over here. You got family concealing things after the fact. So yeah, I can see that. Maybe it's both. Allen's statement was forgotten until recently when Indiana State Police became frustrated with the status of the Delphi investigation and asked a group of investigators to look over files related to the case. I don't believe that for a moment. Investigators believe Allen is the man on the bridge in the cell phone video and in sketches released by police. The source tells iTeammate. So this is a law enforcement source that they're quoting here. Police arrested Allen October 28th for the deaths of William and German and announced his arrest October 31st. He faces 2 counts of murder in the case. Police likely looking for additional suspects in the Delphi murders. Allen was recently moved from the White County Jail to a state-run facility for his own safety. Last week, Allen submitted a handwritten letter asking Carroll County Judge for a public defender. Here's some comments on the Wabash River search. The police source also confirms that the recent 5-week state police search of the Wabash River in Peru was connected to the Delphi investigation. It was initiated after Kagan Klein told police they would find a cell phone and weapon in the river. The source told iTeammate. Klein, 28, a figure linked to the Delphi murders who has not been charged in the case, revealed that information while being questioned about the deaths of Libby and Abby. The evidence was never found, and Klein is known for lying to investigators. Klein faces 25 child porn-related charges in a separate case tied to the use of social media profile called Anthony Shots. Investigators believe Klein used the Anthony Shots social media profile to solicit at least 100 explicit photos and videos from at least 15 underage girls. Police say Liberty German was one of the girls Klein communicated while using the fake account. So at this very point, they had a police source who was stating that Klein was, in fact, providing information for the search, and it was related to Delphi. Now, of course, all of that became quickly confidential and the information sealed. And the narrative changed by law enforcement. So it's at this point they knew they had something. The pressure campaign of releasing the Anthony Shots information, knowing damn well Kagan created it, but also keeping that information for the public so that we would then dig up the name and basically go ham, I guess, on that information. So when they found out it was Kagan Klein, he was famous overnight. Pressure. You want to talk about pressure? That'll do it. Kagan told Barb McDonald, a friend immediately from Texas, called and said, "Hey man, you're all over the news over here." So with that pressure and also Tony Klein, according to Keegan Klein, just weeks before the Barb McDonald interview, his home was raided again. So they were looking for something else, whether it was pertain to Tony or Keegan or the case. I don't know. All we know is that he was raided. Again, Jinx says the brain does crazy things to protect itself from things it cannot process. That is 100% true. I mean, we probably all have suppressed memories that we're unaware of. Teresita Hillis, what up? Kimmy says, I just remember hearing rumors of the bridge guy being identified and cleared. She might have heard those too. Yeah, I mean, he was cleared. It wasn't the bridge guy, it was an older sketch. Police put out a bulletin that said this guy is no longer a suspect. Now we're talking about the sketch that looked just like Richard Allen. So I don't know. Did they have his phones tapped? And they're like, hey, let's go in a new direction. Then we'll just hang back and wait for him to make a phone call. Like, hey, did you guys see the new direction presser? I think we're in the clear. And I think that's what they did with Kagan Klein too. I think that was the FBI's role, monitoring Keegan Klein. Because it's, when they're part of an investigation, it's mainly to cross state lines, If the investigation crosses over into another state, it'd be good that you had the FBI involved. That's basically what their job is. Because what they told media was that because of a clerical error. You're telling me a clerical error allowed Keegan Klein to be free for 3 years for the crimes that he's committed? I don't think Doug Carter's going to allow that to happen. He's going to be like, where's Keegan? Why isn't he in jail? Oh, yeah, it's a good point. I forgot about that guy. Let me go check the paperwork. Oh, I misfiled it. No, I'm not buying that. Good point, Melissa. Melissa says 38 likes and 108 in chat. Super sticker. Thank you, Rescue All the Dogs. I appreciate that. Thank you for all your support recently. It means a lot to me. Yeah, there's another bar video. I didn't find it. It's not my video. I don't want to play it because I don't want somebody to copyright strike me. But I think the Inquisitor and Frost put out the video of Richard Allen playing pool. If you watch the whole thing, you'll see Richard Allen walking around, sneaking outside for a moment. But yeah, he's walking around. And then I also got that image that Fig sent me. He said he got it from Yellow Jacket from Reddit. So shout out to you guys for getting that. I mean, I think I've seen it before, but I've never had access to it. So I appreciate Fig for sending it to me and Yellow Jacket for posting the information on Reddit. So if anybody wants to check that out, Yellow Jacket is one word. Capital YELLOWJACKETTE. Now, where they got it from, I don't know. That's just how I got my hands on it. And we'll put that back up here on the screen. Man, he looks tiny. I'm a short guy, and this dude looks like a midget right here. Shout out to all the dwarfs out there. No disrespect. Yeah, he's just smashing beers. Lipshus is not asking for explanations of why, asking who it was. Oh, well, yeah. Well, in that explanation, it kind of gives you the whoever's taking care of those trails. I'm sure they didn't want to move it, but at some point, things got to get back to a little bit of normalcy. But I think it's just too soon. They have an open case. It seems like it's barely holding on by a thread. You got provocateurs and agitators who are fighting for Richard Allen. And I think that's good. I think you should fight for him. He's innocent, but until proven guilty. So I'm okay with that. But to be fighting for someone who could potentially be a murderer of a case that we've been covering for over 6 years is just, I don't know, it's a hard pill to swallow. I don't understand how you're motivated. But I think it would take some kind of confirmation in somebody's mind. They think they're 100% right about something in order to do something like that. Outside the Grid says, did you guys see the subpoena summons filed on the Allen My case? Yep. Are you talking about the one from like a week and a half ago? Yeah, it looks like he's drinking a beer with his right hand. Hey, Miss Thang, I agree, Sleuth. Teddy bears and other things get nasty in the weather. People clean off graves areas regularly. They need something permanent as a memorial. Yeah, next time you guys go out there, bring some cement. Bring a little bit of cement and like a plaque. You know what I mean? And make it official. Freckle Joy, as a former wife of a serial cheater, it's amazing what you can convince yourself. Yeah. The human element is a real thing and it's unpredictable. Just because you would do something doesn't mean that the rest of the world would do something. We're not all the same. Our minds don't all work the same. We're not even looking at the same world. The way your brain and eyes are processing this physical place is not the same as mine is. We're not even living in the same universe because our brains are computing it differently, perceiving it differently. Teresita says, how do you know your wife has never committed murder? Well, that's a good point. That I know of. Allegedly. Hey, I could be lying to cover it up. You just don't know. Yeah, he could be an ambidexter. Oh, wow. That's interesting, Bogey. Bogey says she could be blaming herself. That's prolific. Thanks for that comment. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, man. So we know that her brother, who she cared very much about, passed away. And in her Facebook post, she was down. She was depressed. So she could have been, I don't know, maybe mistreating Richard Allen. Maybe not being there as much as she thought she should have been. Yeah, she could be beating herself up, Of course, none of those excuses are good, but for her, it can mean the world. All right, let's close out that poll. All right. Do you believe Richard Allen's wife knew the man police were calling a suspect was her husband? 63% said yes, 37% said no. It was 50-50 there for a minute. Thank you, Miss Thang. Yep. If you guys want to become a member, just hit that link there. Don't forget, we will be going live tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to take a phone call from Tim Corbett. We're going to talk about his experience as a homicide investigator, into CSI, as a retired homicide investigator working on cold cases. And we're going to talk about not only his experience, maybe some war stories. We're going to throw some cold cases out there. We're going to lay out some facts. So hopefully you guys can help me with that. Make sure we get the facts right. We'll talk about the floor fires, Jordan Sofer, cases like that aren't getting as much attention. And he's from Indiana. So, it would be easy for him to use his resources and get out there and do some looking around if he so chooses to. But that's tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. William William says, I would have gathered any evidence and turned him in for the reward. Yeah, that would have been the right thing to do. And good for your family as well. Like, F this guy. Like, I mean, you're still loyal to this guy, a double murderer. But yeah, it's easy to say things like this from the outside looking in, honestly. It's a tough one. What's up, Cindy? Okay, here's a follow-up to his previous comment. Anyone know what the subpoena summons filed? Oh, wow. So there's a subpoena filed today. So there's activity on Kagan Klein and Richard Allen. Let me pull that up. Oh, wow. Take a screenshot of this. Little snip. Thanks, Outside the Grid. Make sure you guys go check out Outside the Grid. It's a YouTube channel. Great content. If somebody could post that link for him. Here, let's take a look at this. Thanks for pointing that out, man. So we have activity on Kagan Klein. Confidential information will not be presented to the public whatsoever. And I don't know if this is connected, but I mean, we have activity on the 3rd on both cases. Crazy. I wonder if he's going to be a witness. I wonder if Kagan Klein is going to be a witness in this case or an informant. It's crazy. CJK says, or who in their right mind comes forward if they are guilty? So he must not be the guy. And the conservation officer hadn't seen the photo video at that time, in my opinion. Yeah. And if he just looked like a simple man, like, have you guys ever seen Usual Suspects where the guy comes in and he just looks completely pathetic? Like, he could just be one of those guys that's underestimated, he comes walking up and he's like, hey, yeah, I was on the trails, and they're like, well, we know you didn't do shit. I'm going to zip on down a little further. Sorry, guys. I'm skipping a whole bunch of comments. Sorry. but I don't have a lot of time this morning. What's up, Frank? Hey, Karen. Isn't KK trial this month? Yeah, I think it's on the 18th. It's not a trial. It's his sentencing. He's already pled guilty. He pled guilty to everything. Right around the time they busted Richard Allen. I don't know, guys. I'm starting to see a pattern, and I could be wrong. It could all be a coincidence. But I mean, if you guys really put all the information out there, I mean, it's right there in front of you. I haven't heard anything about the raid. I watched something on the murder sheet about it. They were upset about people tying the raid to the Delphi case and name dropping. They were talking about it recently. Jamie says, I have the pool video on my channel, so feel free to drop that link. I watched it multiple times. It actually appears that Richard Allen sneaks outside and then comes back inside, and he seems high. Somebody comes up and taps him on the shoulder, whispers something in his ear. He kind of thinks about it for a second and then walks over and taps a female on the arm and then walks outside, comes back in and is just locked onto that pole or that pillar. None taken at, I call it fun size. Yeah, I'm about 5'6", give or take 190, 200 pounds. I love being underestimated. I'm pretty sure it attributes to my knockout record. Yeah, it says he's like 5'6", I'm guessing. That's pretty much how tall I am. I say 5'7", but really it's like closer to 5'6". Yeah, he looks smaller than that. Let me pull that picture back up. Like he looks like a dwarf. I mean, this has got to be like a weird picture, right? That's like really short. Hey, what's up, Lauren? What's up, Grizz? Good to see you. Yeah, it's weird. I do things that you're supposed to do with, if you're, I consider myself right-handed, but I play pool with my left hand and I shoot a rifle like a lefty. Like I'll do certain things that lefties do. Oh, it's really strange. Janet says, was out there last fall and there was a man there that said he's the one that made that memorial and he was going to have to clean it up in the spring so he could reset the stones that make the heart. Yeah, I really like that heart. So it looks like that might be what's going on because it does look like the rain kind of maybe washed away some of the dirt underneath it, kind of warped the shape of the heart. So good. I hope he is out there and he's going to redo it. And if they tear it down, hey, go build it back up. They don't know how stubborn people can be, apparently. Good to see you, Grizz. Hey, what's up, Andrew? Yeah, Arch, we got 2 subpoenas, and then we got activity on Keegan Klein's case, making sure it's confidential. Is it connected? I don't know. Do I believe it is? Yes, of course. That's my narrative right now. You know, when I lay out all of the information, that's what it's telling me. It's telling me that it's not telling me that Kagan Klein planned this or that their Vegas trip had something to do with that, but it very well could have been. Um, and Kagan may not have even known. You know, he didn't take himself to Vegas. So maybe somebody else was involved in doing something behind his back. But I think he did know who participated in the murders. And his lawyers probably told him, hey, before you give any information, we need to get a guarantee, okay? Probably nothing we can do about these other charges. And what's strange is it's almost like they couldn't pin all the charges on him. And then after the Wabash search, sorry, it's hard for me to say that word, Wabash, during that time, everything went confidential. And then after the search and the arrest of Richard Allen, boom, he's like, pleads guilty. And yet the information is still confidential. Well, not still. Whatever information they're presenting is confidential. And why are they doing that now? Is it part of the subpoena? Are they bringing Kagan Klein in? I don't know. I'm very hopeful on this. We got about 5 minutes, guys, and we're gonna bail out of here. Hey, what's up, Ruckus? Ruckus does rock. Make sure you guys go check out Ruckus. Hey, Cindy Lean with the super chat. Thank you so much. Let's take a look here. Give Sleuth love for gathering all the info, getting awesome guests. Hit the like, comment. Yeah, I mean, this channel's only going to grow. I fell in love with YouTube, fell in love with true crime, and of course, the Delphi case and the mystery surrounding that. And we're not going anywhere. We're going to try to help on other cases. And if anything, if we can get a whole bunch of people to subscribe to the channel, I get emails all the time from people like, hey, Sleuth, my cousin's missing, or hey, a family member hasn't been seen in 2 weeks. Can you post this? So if we can build up this huge group of subscribers, we can be more powerful. We can have a stronger voice, a louder voice, and we can have longer reach. So the more we can do that, the more we can use this platform. I created this platform because I didn't like being pushed around. I didn't like being bullied. I didn't like people with egos ignoring different points of views and perspectives. I needed to create a place where we can look at everything. And yes, you know, I get triggered like anybody else, and I have bad days or irritable. But overall, you know, we're in this together. This platform is just as much yours as it is mine. Thank you, Jamie. Light it up to support the channel. And I'm here for you guys. If you need anything, if there's something you're working on, shoot me an email. If you think I can help, regardless of you respect my opinion or not, if you want to use this platform to help somebody or help a family member, help a friend, shoot me an email. You know, if anything, at least I'm going to take a look. And if it's definitely somebody that's missing, it's nothing for me to create a flyer and put that out there. It's my pleasure to do that. Melissa says, I need $1 million. That's really not a lot of money these days. Let's make it 10. Yeah. Karen says, sorry, I just feel devastated for the girls and they deserve pure justice. It must have been terrifying. Yeah, I hate it. And sometimes my mind will go there. It'll go right there to that moment. And that fear, just an ounce of that fear is overwhelming. To try to pick up on that, you know, just an ounce of that fear. And I'm going there again now, and I don't like to go there. It's not a good place. It shouldn't have happened. Let's just put it that way. Change of plea hearing is scheduled for Richard Allen, June 20th of 23. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to pull that back up. Hey, Cold Truth. Good to see you. Make sure you guys go check out Cold Truth, another great channel. Let me go back to Richard Allen's My Case. I want to see what they're talking about here. I don't see that on here. Where'd you get that information? That's interesting. WL22 says June 20th, 2023, change of plea hearing scheduled for Richard Allen. Oh, you're asking a question. Sorry about that. No, I don't see anything like that. Got me all excited. I was like, what the hell? But I am worried that he would plead guilty and not say anything. That is a fear of mine when it comes to this case, that he'll just keep his mouth shut, plead guilty, and we'll never know the answers. But I'm pretty sure I think the fact that he is a family man is going to benefit the prosecution, you know, because he has a lot of thinking to do. And if they promise him something like life in prison, he can still communicate with his family. He still has somewhat of a future. So hopefully he's had time to consider his options. And this whole transferring him and being sick and all that, I don't know. That could just be a guise. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, there's a link for Cold Truth. Make sure you guys hit that and give her a look, see if you could. You won't regret it. That's true, Sparky. All right, guys, if there's nothing else, we're going to get out of here. It's a guys down the hill. Got it, Mel. Todd says, I think he will eventually plea. He's so not innocent. He will not be able to explain away all of the damning facts in the PCA, and we don't even know what other evidence law enforcement has. I agree. What will those close to you think when they find out what you did? Doug Carter said that, and I've associated that with Richard Allen. I mean, yeah, they could have known that it was Richard Allen, but most likely the FBI profile may have suggested that we're dealing with the family man. You know, maybe they were something about the signatures and the staging. Maybe it's more signs of panic than it is ritual or a calling card or shock value. So maybe through their training and expertise, they were able to determine, hey, what we see here is a man who has a little bit of regret. You know, we know you have just a little bit of conscience left because of what he did to cover Libby, if that's true. the Erskine text. If he's going out of his way, because a lot of times staging is just, out of panic or to mislead law enforcement. But if they got professionals looking at this crime scene, building a profile, putting everything together, they may have considered that the person that they're looking for was a family man or somebody who was hiding in plain sight. Best way to hide in plain sight is like the BTK killer. Sorry. I wanted to ask Fig what his thoughts were on the movement on Richard Allen's My Case. Thank you, Sparky. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for participating in the chat. Remember, without you guys, I'm just this guy who really has no professional experience talking on a microphone. Who is very over opinionated, often biased, and full of speculation. So without you guys contributing and without you, that's all you have left. There's no meat on them bones without you guys. Hey, Wonder Girl. The actual question is, what case number is reduced in the PCA for KK on February 25th, 2017? That's the case he took. Well, that's the Delphi case. We know that now as a fact. From the interview transcript of Kagan Klein. We know for a fact that was the case. And we have a lot of information that was hidden in that PCA for the search warrant. A lot of that stuff that was blacked out. I mean, all that information is included pretty much in Kagan Klein's interview transcript because they go over the information. They go over each device and they kind of go over who they were communicating, what the conversations were, and what, they mentioned the Delphi case in regards to the Delphi case. So we know it 100%. They were referring to the Delphi case in the PCA. Yeah, he did hide in plain sight. He even confessed on the 13th or 14th. Hey, it was me. I was on the bridge. Your little ass didn't do this. Get out of here. Thank you, Growing Crazy. Wow. With a huge super sticker. Thank you so much. Shout out to Growing Crazy. Oh, you want to see my garden? It's not doing as well as I thought, but I can show you that. Let me see. Let me email myself these images and I'll pop them up and then we'll get out of here. Shout out to Growing Crazy. Thank you so much. The hell? I must have had these images on high def because they're like taking forever. Here, I'll just do 3. Sorry for the dead air, guys. Just bear with me a moment. All right. Wait for those to come through. Catch up on the chat. Thank you, Ruckus. Appreciate that. Love your channel as well, man. Keep up the good work. Well, here's one. So those are my potatoes, carrots, onions, lettuce, and then there's some peas popping up on the end there. This is going to be my spinach. And I had to get rid of all these freaking caterpillars that were eating them. I had to spray them. Right there. You can see they got me good. That all happened overnight. My spinach, cucumbers, spinach, cucumber, and then watermelons are in there. And I think I got one more for you. This isn't all of it. I have a whole nother side that's all tomatoes, but I don't know. I think I made the image like high def or something. It's taking too long. And these are my ace tomatoes and some just some Cosmos in between to keep the bugs away. Yep. So everything's looking good so far. My cherry tomatoes are not doing so good. I tried to transplant them, and it seems to have delayed the growth a little bit, but I'm sure they'll pop up soon enough. Yep, 2 subpoenas were just filed for Alan today. Yep, we put them on the screen. And it's somebody that the prosecution wants. And Fig was I'm talking to him about it right now via text, and he reminded me that Kathy Allen doesn't have to testify, being his wife and all. Thanks, Miss Thang. Kimmy, yeah, I've always had the netting on there. Without that, the birds would just devour everything. The devil's lettuce. Oh, we got a super sticker. Gladys Kravitz. Thank you, Gladys. I really appreciate that, Gladys. Thank you. Ruckus says Richard Allen's subpoenas equals rolling, rolling, rolling. Them Rockies rolling, 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 rolling. Rawhide. Move them in, move them out. Thanks, Jamie. All right. Shout out to Growing Crazy, Jamie Hicks, Cindy Lean. No, I'm missing one up here. Rescue All the Dogs. Thank you guys so much. In today's economy, that's huge, guys. I mean, with gas prices and all that stuff, for you guys to go out of your way and support little old Sleuth, that's amazing. Wow. Thank you so much, WL22. You guys are amazing. I don't know. I'm not good with gracious acts, so I apologize. How about discount on memberships? 2 members for the price of 1. Sounds good. Are we negotiating? Yeah, that bee is awesome. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. I think today was a really good live stream. There's a lot of activity going on, so hopefully we'll get some answers on this case, and they can close the books. They can get everybody involved and bring justice for Abby and Libby and to their families, Timmons, Patty's, the Germans, and everybody who knows them and is related to them and loved them. Me personally, I don't do this for Abby and Libby. I know that sounds cold, but I do it for my own girls. I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen to anybody else. There's nothing that we can do for Abby and Libby. They've been taken from the world. Their lives were crushed, stomped out. There's nothing left that we can do for them other than justice, right? But I'm not going to act like I know them. I'm not going to act like, truth. I'm just being truthful. The truth is that I'm completely terrified of this happening to anybody that I know. I couldn't handle it the way they do, and it scares me. It would be the end of my life. There would be no going back for me. So it's a terrifying thought, and they're extremely brave, in my opinion. Yep. And I want to make sure everybody remembers them and knows what happened to them. And I think it starts with personal responsibility, especially for people. If Richard Allen's a guilty man, it all starts with his decisions. Whoever killed those girls, they made a decision to do it. So we have to take a personal responsibility, not to be monsters first. All right, guys, on that note, I really appreciate it. We're going to continue fighting for justice, not only for Delphi, not only for their families, but for our families. And like I said, this just shouldn't have happened. There's no reason for this to happen. I don't know how else to say it. Radar says each has a gift of free will. Choose love. We're going to end on that note. That's beautiful, Radar. Choose love. take personal responsibility if you're having crazy thoughts or you're feeling like you're going to hurt somebody or yourself. Just come forward. Just come say something. Think about your family. Think about everybody that'll be affected. Just stop and think about what you're doing. All right, guys. On that note, I'm out. Once again, thank you. If you could hit that like button on the way out, leave a comment, and I'll get back to you guys. Don't forget, tonight we're hanging out with Tim Corbett, cold case expert, and it should be a good one. So I'll see you there, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Later, guys.